Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first experimental live 3D printing podcast. It's a Print That Thing podcast. Welcome, everyone in the chat. I see we got 3D Medic. Vince, hello, good evening.
Hello.
I'm here with my beautiful lover lady, Amber. Amber Jams. She is really who's putting everything together for the past 5 years for Print That Thing. And
That's not true.
she organizes all my chaos. But yeah, if you don't know who I am, I'm Jay Wall, Print That Thing. Been doing 3D printing since like 2014. This is my lover lady. Go ahead and tell the World Wide Web a little bit about yourself.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Amber. I have more of a film background. My experience in 3D is more in terms of 3D illustration and animation and all the other fun stuff not related to 3D printing. So I think this podcast is more kind of my introduction to why I should become more interested, or also answering some of my questions about getting more involved with the printing community.
Yeah, I think she's coming around. And yeah, really this is for you guys and girls out there, all of y'all. If you have any questions, if you're new to maybe you've been 3D printing, but maybe you're like, I kind of want to make some of my own stuff, or maybe you're a veteran designer who just wants to give some advice, go ahead and start thinking of those questions. We can see the chat right here. So at the end, we'll open that up and, answer any questions that you have. So, there are no wrong questions. But before we dive into all that,
just dumb questions.
Yeah, there's no dumb questions, just dumb people. No. But yeah, so go ahead and start thinking of that. We're going to go to our sponsor video. What's up, Michael Russo? Yeah. Hey. Yes. So we don't actually have a sponsor because this is our first episode. So we decided to sponsor our own episode.
Yeah.
Roll that sponsorship.
Let's do it. Our first episode is brought to you by Print That Thing, a growing online community that seeks to unite the 3D print designers of the world. We offer community-only Discord, online courses, news, and monthly inspiration challenges. We want to bring together designers with years of experience as well as the newbies just setting out on their own design adventures.
Yeah.
Visit us today at ptt.live for more information.
Yeah, that's right. PTT.live. And Michael Russo, who just jumped in the chat, is actually one of our students in the workshop. I actually just sent him a bunch of answers to his questions. So, and he's making incredible stuff. I don't know how much experience did you have before, Michael? I'm not sure, but he's doing great. Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hello.
All right, welcome. Thank you all for coming to hang out with us on our first one. But yeah, let's go ahead. I'm going to ask Amber some questions. So she says that she's not a designer, but I just want to ask her a few questions. And y'all can ask questions too, of kind of trying to get her kind of convinced to become a 3D print designer. I think she'll love it. So here we go. So what do you think someone that's maybe just starting out, or yourself, what do you think the benefits would be for someone learning 3D print design?
The benefits of learning 3D print design. So
for you or for someone else?
For me personally, I think I've kind of slowly coming around because of the options for rapid prototyping, and kind of the manufacturing process is more interesting to me than just kind of like, I'm designing stuff and bringing it into the world. Mine's more like, okay, I'm designing stuff, how do I fucking sell it? So
entrepreneurship. Okay, I like that.
So that's kind of why I'm slowly getting more involved, because I'm starting other projects that potentially would need merchandising or other such items.
Yes, Amber's been working on a children's book about mental hygiene, so that'll be coming out soon. And the other day, you probably forgot this, but no, about a month ago, I'd say, she was doing Amazon voiceovers, and she made something. She was like, hey, I made something, I need you to 3D print it. And I was like, okay. And then so she made her, she was doing voiceovers, and she had this kind of like a audio
like
thing. Yeah, screen thing that catches weird noises. But she had to like keep looking to the right and like breaking her neck to look at her phone. I was like over here. So she was like, like, so she's like, I need something that just like hooks onto this and just.
That's how I sound too.
Yeah, that's how she talks to me. I need something that just hooks onto this so I can see it right here. And so she made this amazing thing. I just clicked something. She made this amazing thing in Blender, and then it worked. And my long story here is, how did it feel whenever you saw that thing that you made in Blender actually come into the real world and actually work?
How did it feel?
How did you feel? Yeah, were you like, oh, cool, or was it like?
Mine was, I think, for that particular item, I just needed it, so I was like, I fucking need this. Make it happen. And so it happened, and that was it. I think I thought more of the 3D printing robot as more of a tool to get something accomplished, but I think that the moment that I realized 3D printing was awesome was when you designed the teleprompter that you can hang on your screen. That was when I was like, oh, look at there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So
I guess maybe it just takes that little special thing. Maybe someone like, I don't know. What do you guys and girls think? What got y'all started?
Yeah.
So, okay, then what do you think it would take to get you more interested in becoming a 3D print designer?
Ooh,
like what kind of gear or gadgets or technology would have to be there where you're like, okay, that's cool.
Oh, well, the moment that I can just like tell a computer with my words, I need something that does X and Y, and then it goes, here's some options, and I can click, that would be awesome.
Okay,
but
so just super easy.
But until that happens, I think that for introductory kind of figuring that out is, I don't know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you want it to be really fucking easy. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
That's cool. I get that.
So, I'm done talking about myself.
Okay, yeah, that was great. We'll get her to turn over. No, we got to show them what you just made.
No.
This is in for...
That's later. That's for tomorrow.
No, this is for International Condom Day. Amber and I made this.
It's funny.
Amber designed it.
It's a penis.
Yeah, it's a penis. But not only is it a penis, it is a condom dispenser. You screw it to your wall. Like she put these little things here. You screw it to the wall. I can't see the camera. Boom, like that. And then when you need a condom, safe sex, you just can pull it out. Boom. Yeah. She designed this, and then she gave it to me to like make it manifold.
I didn't do it properly. He had to fix a lot of things.
But yeah, that'll be coming out tomorrow. I'm super proud of her for making something crazy like that. That's what 3D printers are for, because I was just gonna make some lips. I was just like, oh, it'd be cool to have like a little condom dispenser.
I said, let's pump it up a notch.
Yeah. So
make it phallic.
I think she's coming around. I think she's seeing the power of 3D printing. What do y'all think?
Yeah, that's it. That's what's happening. So I guess the reason for the podcast is to kind of start talking about what you think as someone who's engaged in 3D printing. What are some of the, I guess, how do you start? How do you get involved? So, like, if I was technically way more interested in 3D printing, what are maybe your top 3 suggestions to get started?
I would suggest, what's up, Ben? Oh, Tony's got a thing too. My advice to someone who's like just now, like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna start designing my own things, would be, one, most people are already doing this, 3D print other designer stuff, things that you think is cool, and then bring it into some type of software, and then try, or even a slicing software, and try and reverse engineer. Just look, slice it in half and kind of look inside of it, and kind of see like, oh, I see how they did that. They're just making like example. I really loved La Fab Shop when I first started. So I would, it was like a car, and I was like, how the heck did they make this? So I would bring it into other softwares, and then like zoom inside of it and look around and be like, oh, that's how they do it. So one would be, reverse engineer other people's designs that you like. 2 would be just try it. Like start with free software. And maybe like a Tinkercad or something, Blender's kind of trickier just because it's got a steeper learning curve. But just something really basic. There's SelfCAD out there. That's pretty new. It's all browser-based, which is pretty cool. And just kind of like get the basics of that. And I would say might be my number 2. Just start with a simple free software. See if you like it.
Nice.
And then the third, I don't know, just make what you like, you know? Like, I think instead of trying to make like Baby Yodas or something that maybe you do care about Baby Yodas. I don't really care about Baby Yoda, but a lot of people do. And I guess instead of trying to make things you think other people will like, you should try and make things that you like first. That would be my 3.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So Tony Martinez, he said the first time that I really print something, it blew
his mind.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
And spent 3 hours watching the machine. My wife got up in the middle of the night to watch and said, "You are a freak."
She's like, "You're a freak." No, I totally feel you on that, Tony. I'm the same way. I mean, it's addictive. Like, especially once you print your first thing, it's just like this, I have the power, you know, like craziness. And I call it a superpower. But yeah, you definitely start seeing the world around you differently. And so that's why I want more people to have that power, because it's just getting started. Like 3D printing is still in its like infancy, newborn stage. And like, you know, give it 5, 10, 20 years and stuff's going to be crazy. And I believe the people who can design are going to have a good old time.
I think I was more like your wife. I think it was when he brought his first printer home, I was like, why is it so loud? And why are we sleeping in the same room? Like, it was very, it was an adjustment. Now it's just nightmares in my sleep with that noise. But
it actually puts me to sleep. I love the sound when I'm sleeping. I'm like, oh, I can go to sleep now because I hear the sound. I actually like it.
You're a heavy sleeper too. So.
Sure.
All right. So, I know that Jonathan from Maker Tales has mentioned that he started to learn 3D design before he got his printer. And I know that there's some people in our courses and classes online that are doing the same thing. Do you think that that would be a more realistic approach as opposed to like buying the gear and then doing stuff? Or do you think that it would be more beneficial to just buy the gear and learn the technical aspects of the gear as well as the design at the same time?
I think it depends on the person. And I think Mike Russo, who's in the chat, I think he is like kind of like Jonathan from Maker Tales, where he learned design before he bought his printer, because he was like, if I get my printer first, I'll never learn design because I'll just be downloading objects off of Thingiverse or My Mini Factory and just keep putting it off. So I know Jonathan was like, you know, that is a must for him and for Mike Russo here. But me, I'm the complete opposite. I was like, I always wanted to learn 3D design when I was this is 2013, I think. I was like, I had tried 3D modeling for like visual effects multiple times and would start, stop. And it was just like, screw this. But I then did something really stupid and I bought a 3D printer, a MakerBot 3D printer for like $2,500. It was almost like $3,000 with insurance and some filament and all that stuff. And then on a credit card, which was stupid. And then I couldn't do anything with it. So I was like, I need software. I need the best software. I even opened Blender up and was like, no, this is lame. This is free. This is like 2013. And I was like, this is ugly software. And then, so I was like, what do I need? And I had just a little bit of experience with Cinema 4D by Maxon. And I was like, yes, that's what I need. So then I spent another like $1,500 or $2,000. So I'm like $5-6 deep. Because my mindset at that time was like, I'm invested now. Like, now that I've spent all this money, I have to learn 3D print design. And by George, I fucking did.
You did.
But I would not recommend that to anybody. If you're starting out, do not do that. Do not buy the most expensive printer you can find so you think it will just work. That's what I was like. I just need something that works, because I'm not an engineer, you know, so I need something that's like plug and play. But now printers are so easy and so cheap. You can get like an amazing 3D printer for like $100. So I would say start there, and then maybe start with some free software. Don't buy expensive software thinking it's going to make you a great designer or a great to make you do it. It did work in my case, but I'm the only rare exception. Everybody else, do not do that, please. If you learn anything from this podcast, don't buy a bunch of expensive gear. Maybe someone out there can relate. I see we got some people. Let's see.
I know that Maker Tales also mentioned that when he first started, he realized that there were people in the printing community that was willing to test his prints, even though he didn't have a 3D printer. So that's something to think about too when you're getting started, is maybe not spending money on a fancy printer out the gate, just to see if, I don't know if I would have, even if I would have spent thousands of dollars, I don't know if I would have followed through, because that's a lot.
Well, that was that's what was my mindset. It was like, I'll put myself in this situation where I have to. And then that was like what led to making Print That Thing, was like, oh, well, this would be cool to make content about that, because I come from a film background. So I was like, it all worked out, but I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And then Tony said he would suggest starting with a tiny printer, Monoprice Select Mini. Yes, that's a great one. And then let's see, easy to use, sturdy. Yeah. And I agree, Tony, start there.
Tinkercad.
Let's see. Okay, cool. Thanks, Ben. Said he can relate. Who can relate? Thanks, Ben. I feel you, bro. Yeah, so if you're listening to this later or in the, a recap of this on the podcast, everybody in the chat saying Monoprice, Mini Select, just a small, powerful printer, small build volume, get it down, get your skills, and then you can always go up from there. I think that seems to be the consensus.
I think that makes the most logical sense.
Yeah.
As a consumer.
Totally.
I guess, okay, so I learned Blender for other purposes, so I'm kind of intrigued on using that, but I know that a lot of people don't like Blender for 3D printing.
Right.
And I also know that a lot of people talk about CAD softwares and things like that.
Definitely.
And I know when I first started kind of investigating what I should be learning for 3D printing, that was a big kind of topic. So like, what's the difference between CAD and like other softwares where it would be for animation or production line kind of stuff?
I haven't used, when I think of CAD, my first mindset goes to Fusion 360, probably y'all too. I haven't used CAD that much at all. I'm more of an artist. So I kind of started in Tinkercad, Mesh Mixer, doing like sculpting and things like that. But CAD seems to be more of like, if you're wanting like little hinges to fit, or if you're like very engineer minded, or you're doing like buildings or architecture, stress tests on models. I'm sure it's really incredible, really powerful. It just seems a little flat to me, but I still want to dive in. I kind of want to try to get like a good foundation on Blender, and then dive even deeper into Fusion. That's my next learning thing.
So CAD is more like gears and
I think so. I'm sure people in the chat, but to my understanding, it seems a little bit more, you're typing in the exact measurements and the dimensions and the sizing of everything, and maybe like drawing shapes from like top down perspective and pulling it, which could be very powerful. But cool. Yeah, I think it would be great. And it seems like CAD really, whenever you are finished, you have like a really easily 3D printable model, whereas something like Blender or those types of softwares, or Cinema 4D, things like that, it's more for animation, sculpting, rigging.
Structure isn't real.
Yeah, it's more like it's not real. But you can use it for those things, especially for artistic things. And I read a lot where people are like saying like Blender can't be used for 3D printing, and I'm like, that's a lie. Like, I use it every day. I've used it for multiple like big client projects and haven't had really any issues at all. The only issue that I run into is Booleans, which I was talking to Mike just a second ago, and I was talking to Chaos Cortec and some other big designers, and they were saying they don't really know a lot of like professional softwares that don't have issues with Booleans and things like that. So I think they each have their own thing. And I was talking to Devin from Make Anything, and we were just kind of saying like, you kind of have to just know a bunch of softwares, like, and use them to their strengths, like that's what I always did in the beginning. I would go into like 4 or 5 different softwares before I knew Blender, just to get the design that I wanted. I would like spit something out in this software, then upload it into Tinkercad, and then do some things there. Then I would download it, then I would do some more stuff in Mesh Mixer, and then I would have the final. So I think that's
figuring out your pipeline.
Yeah, you just figure out your own pipeline, and that's what Devin and I were talking about. Is like you just got to have your tools. You know, it's just like if you're working in a shop.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, video and stuff touches multiple software, so that would make a lot of sense.
Definitely.
So I'm more interested in, I guess, in prototyping, but are there other benefits to 3D printing that you can kind of think of, or...
Oh, wait, I haven't one before we go into that. Sorry.
Okay.
Tony said, this is great. Fusion 360 is so powerful for mechanical purposes and geometry designs. You can modify any parameter of the model, and you can iterate in a few minutes with versions of prototypes.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that's, yeah. Okay, cool. Tony, my boy. So Tony can relate, just jumping into different softwares. What was your question? Sorry. I was like reading, multitasking.
He's very excited about the comments.
Yes.
No, my question was, are there other benefits to 3D printing or 3D print design other than prototyping? Is there other things that benefit the human doing it?
I think it just helps your mind grow. Like I remember feeling a time before when I knew 3D print design, and then while I was learning it, I remember seeing the world around me totally different. And I remember looking at things and being able to see the measurement. I remember like pulling out an Allen wrench or like looking at a screw, that like an Allen wrench, hex screw, and then just being like, and then I could just look at the Allen wrench and I'd be like, this is the size. Like, I think your brain like starts connecting new receptors or new connectors the more you do it. So I think it trains your brain into seeing scale and thinking about shapes differently that you see all around you.
Makes sense.
And also just looking at like this mouse, like just looking at the different shapes, like your brain will automatically just be like, oh, you could do that with a cube, and then add some modifiers to it, and then it would be this shape, like you'll just start seeing that. And it's hard to explain until you start doing it or feeling it, but that's I think the best benefit is just it's adding new layers to your brain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I started doing 3D design stuff for architectural kind of stuff, that was natural improvement. on human
Yeah, I mean,
brain.
you're just expanding. Everything compounds on everything, Tony said that would make his brain burn. I think that's what he's saying. Well, yeah, so what, you have any other questions, or you want to open up to chat?
Okay, so here's one.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's benefits, but what are some of the downfalls?
Oh, yeah.
Or the not so fun things? Because I know when you got started, I was kind of in the background watching, and I know that it wasn't that exciting, but it was also exciting. So kind of giving that, and I know trying to print stuff that doesn't work. You're like, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to live that life.
Yeah, it is not as easy. So anyone who's beginning or wanting to begin or seeing the stuff online, it's not that easy. It's not as easy as they make it seem sometimes, even myself. But everything's hard until you try it, just like riding a bike. But I would say first, the tediousness of it all. You have to like tedious tinkering, trial and error processes. If you don't like that, you're probably going to hate it. Like, you're just not going to enjoy it. But if you are like me or like somebody, like probably a lot of people in this chat today, if you enjoy that, you're going to, woo, it's great. It's just amazing. The second thing that I hate about...
Hate it?
I hate it sometimes, but I'm getting much better at it. And this is what I was talking to Mike Russo in the chat about. He's one of our students. He was talking about booleans. Booleans are, if you're not familiar, they're like the adding and subtracting of shapes. So if I had a sphere and then I had a cube and I make them touch and then I do a boolean to like subtract it, it would like bite a piece out. Yeah, it would like bite a piece out. Or if you add to it, they would mesh together and make a magical shape. But sometimes the math just doesn't work, and it's very, very frustrating. Michael Russo, yes, he's already in the chat. Nasty and awesome all rolled into one. Perfectly said, Michael. But there are ways around it, and I'm finding out all these tricks, and I can't wait to make a new video to show people, because in Blender that's like notorious. But like even making that big penis condom dispenser last night, it had so many errors. Amber had like flipped. She had like flipped normals, and like the scale was negative and wonky. I was just like, But knowing all the tools, and I've been teaching students, like I've been able to do it, and I was able to like take something that was terrible, like it wouldn't 3D print at all, and just using a few tricks and tips that I know, and I'll teach you that too, Mike Russo. You can get it to work. So 2, Booleans suck sometimes, and 3, it can be a very expensive hobby. So if you're not one to
how expensive?
I would say, it's like $20-$40 a roll. So you could easily spend $100 minimum a week or a month. I mean, you could spend hundreds of dollars a month if you wanted to. I spent a lot of money on 3D printing, and you don't necessarily are going to get any of that money back, because 3D printing is kind of like a free ecosystem. It's the weirdest thing ever where nobody wants to pay for anything. So that would be one. It's expensive, and can be, I'm not saying it's impossible to make money, but it can be tricky to make money with 3D print design unless you're entrepreneurial minded.
But isn't that the same thing you could say about
anything.
Like computers?
Totally.
Early adopters of computers,
Totally.
they spent a crap ton of money, but then they were writing software that they were just sharing with each other. So it's like that's just part of early adopting technology, right? So we might still be in the stage of sharing content that way, but
true.
Eventually, if the ecosystem is going to survive, it has to
do something. And I've seen that. I've seen more and more sites popping up, and people, I'll buy files if the design is amazing. Like, I'm gonna buy it, or tip the designer. I'm all about that. I need to make a shirt like tip your designer. Would y'all wear a shirt that said tip your designer if you're a designer out there?
Yes.
Yeah, give this video a thumb up. Oh, thank you. Michael brought up a great point. How is the impact on the environment? All the plastic. I think about this all the time, and sometimes it makes me want to stop 3D printing because I'm like, and I tell Amber this like a few days ago. I was like, I've got to figure out a way to close this loop, or recycle prints, or start printing with like mycelium or cardboard or something, moss. I don't know, because I just feel like my soul aches sometimes. Not to sound like super hippie, but yeah, I'm a hippie boy. I'm just like, I live in the freaking woods, and I just print things, and then I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, if it's not a functional piece, it's just in my way. Or if I could just crush it down. I think once we close that loop, and I feel like we're starting to, then
a lot more companies that are doing it, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking about it, a lot of people are talking about it, a lot of people are doing it. So I think it's just going to keep happening, and hopefully eventually we'll be able to recycle prints or use different materials that are better.
Yeah.
So great question or comment, Michael. That was I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Another last thing on that question, that clients and customers think that it should be cheap for them and or free. And so that's kind of a weird misconception, because everyone's like, oh, it's 3D printing, it should be cheaper. But it's like, what people don't understand is it's cheaper for us as the designers or the person who's making the actual designs. But as a customer, you're paying for the years or months that it took us to learn this design skill, which is not easy. It can be very tricky. 2, the hours and hours and hours of 3D printing your design. All they see is, it's appeared, yay, or I get it in the mail. So I've noticed that working with clients, anything over like $20, $50, they're like, what the fuck? And it's like, what I have noticed is working with entrepreneurial minded clients who are going to then sell the design or make something from it, have no problem spending thousands of dollars, because they understand that they're going to make a return on this prototype. But someone like the lady that messaged us about the dog leg, she just wanted this custom made dog cast for her dog that she just wanted one. And I'm like, lady, it's going to take me 4, 5, 6 hours. I'm going to charge you like at least $1,000, if not more, for this one thing. And she's looking at it on Amazon for $15. I'm like,
but it wasn't custom.
It's not custom to your dog's special foot. So I think there's that disconnect that, and that's what I want to talk about on the podcast over the years. So if anyone out there has questions about this, or making money with 3D print design, getting started, anything, leave a comment in the questions below, or leave a comment below, and we will add this to future topics about this.
We should do a podcast on that.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
But yeah, those are mine.
misconceptions in education
I had to rant on that.
necessary.
Yeah, I'm a super optimist, but I see the pitfalls too.
Well, it sounds like there's still positive enough things.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
keep going,
totally.
right?
The horizon is bright. It's good. I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Well, that's good. I think that's all the questions that I had, but this might be a good spot to do another sponsor
Yeah,
ad.
let's have a
And
word
then
from our sponsor.
You guys can ask questions
Yes.
or make statements or whatever while we
Yeah.
pretend like we have sponsors.
Yeah, yeah. And if you know a sponsor who wants to be a sponsor, let us know, and we can work with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I'll do the music.
You'll do the music. All right. This episode of the Print That Thing podcast is brought to you by PTT.live, a growing online community that seeks to unite the 3D print designers of the world. As a thank you for those tuning in, we'd like to give you a magical discount of 50% off any of our online courses. We have the user code podcast love. You can go ahead and get all that information at podcast.ptt.live and get some discountage for the Valentine's Day situation happening. I don't know when, but soon.
That's lovely.
All right.
Yeah, and if anyone does want to take one of our courses or workshops closed. We only take 30 students a month. So you can kind of apply or kind of put your email in for next month if you're interested.
Enrollment opens, I think, on the 19th of this month.
End of this
or
month.
March.
Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, and so we got some love from Michael. He's actually in our workshop right now, and he says, great course for beginners. He's learning some crazy stuff, and he's going to keep on climbing. So let me know what questions you guys and girls have. I don't know how experienced y'all are, but now is the time we can do in the last few minutes or 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, any kind of like other tips and tricks that you think that newcomers should think about before they get started. And we'll share that on
the podcast.
Podcast things.
The podcast, the Print That Thing podcast, coming straight to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for everyone coming out and hanging out. This is great, just having some chat. I mean, I love talking to Amber, but it's fun talking with y'all too and just seeing all this. Also, you can, if you have any topics that you want to hear about, talk about, this is what this is. So that's what we're going to be stirring up. We're going to be interviewing companies, CEOs,
other makers.
Other designers. We're going to be talking about a lot of different stuff, and you can check all that out on our ptt.live, and then there's the events, and Amber and I will keep up the calendar.
Yeah. I think next week we're talking about 3D design, right?
Yes. Why you should learn 3D design, unless somebody thinks of a better course topic, but that's what we're going to start.
I was definitely surprised to find out that a lot of people with desktop 3D printers don't necessarily design their own stuff. So that was really interesting to learn. And I kind of want to have a conversation with folks who might not be interested in learning that stuff as well.
Oh, Michael has a good one. Yes, we're definitely going to talk about this. So Michael brought up videos of your 3D printed house. So Amber and I actually just bought a 5-acre plot of land in the middle of bumfuck. And in the middle of a 1,000-acre forest. We're like Winnie the Pooh here. And right now we live in a tiny camper. We're actually at her parents' house because we got flooded.
We didn't get flooded.
Or
the
we're
road
about
to
to.
Our property
We were
got
scared.
flooded, so we left.
Yeah, so we skedaddled out of there so we didn't get locked into our land.
3D printed house.
But yeah.
Documentary happening.
Yep. So we're going to be I'm trying to talk with some companies near and far about how to get that, try and save up some cashola. Amber's actually designing a cool micro house in Blender right now. It's like a little A-frame with a greenhouse in the back. It's pretty tiny, like 700 square feet. I don't know. It's pretty small.
It'd be probably
1,000, huh?
850.
Yeah, so relatively small to most American homes. But yeah, we're definitely going to get to that point. Michael Russo, thanks for bringing that up. We'll talk about the highs and lows of 3D printing your house. It's going to be a roller coaster.
Documentary will be fun.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to do a documentary. I'll try and sell it to Netflix. I got some buddies up at Netflix. Amazon, somebody will buy it, I hope.
If not, we'll just
if not, we'll just put it on YouTube. That would be fun, too. And then we're going to talk about making money with 3D print design. You do it. Hey, what's up, dude? You do it.
You do
it. Are you a designer? You do it. I see you popping up. I'm just curious. Are you 3D print dude, or are you just a
He's a
cool
doer.
dude? He's a doer.
Maybe it's a she.
Yeah, it could
They're
be a
a
she.
doer.
Yeah, it totally could be a she. All right, well, I don't do it. You do it. Hey, we all do it. But yeah, everybody, go check out. We're gonna have some fun stuff coming up on YouTube. Amber's F3. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's right. That's where I saw you. Okay, F3D PCH. We did a live stream with them a few weeks ago.
That was a good one. I like
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, go check that out too. We're gonna have Amber and our penis design here.
He's really proud of it.
It's funny. It's funny. So this will be coming out. This is like, put on your wall. You got condom dispensers for National Condom Day. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, International Condom Day is the
Condom Day.
13th because obviously safe sex is great. I could go and.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us for our first interactive live podcast.
It was a rocket ship.
It's a rocket ship. Cool. Well, thanks everybody, and we will see y'all same time next week. If there's a better time for y'all, let us know. We just did 7:30 because that's what we decided. But we control this ship, so we can turn it around or do anything. But leave a comment below if you have any questions, or if you have tips for others, beginner 3D printers who want to get into design. Leave it below so that can help them out too. And then also check out our courses. Use, what was the code?
Podcast Love.
Podcast Love. And that'll get you 50% off for a limited time. And we'll see y'all.
Wait,
what?
you guys, to tell them about Saturday with Wexter.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a fun live stream this Sunday, 4:00 p.m. Central Time. With Wexter. He's an amazing sculptor, 3D print designer. You've seen his stuff. Yeah, he's amazing. But he's interested in learning Blender. So I'm going to show him some tips and tricks for sculpting. And we're going to do it on his channel, Wexter. So go check that out if you're interested. And we'll see y'all next week.
Alrighty, bye, y'all.
Peace.
Have a wonderful life. We love you so much. La 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 la.
Yeah.